What's up, peeps? Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're talking about 12 reasons why you might not be gaining muscle. Now, full disclosure, this is actually inspired by an article by Neeramitra Reddy on Medium. I will link it in the description below. And hopefully I can film this video quickly because there is construction in the apartment above me and it is pretty much nonstop. Now, the first one is sleep. You can't avoid it. I see a lot of people trying to gain muscle on 3, 4, 5 hours of sleep per night. It's just not going to happen. You can nail everything else on this list, but if you mess this up, you just won't make any gains. Cortisol is going to be higher, testosterone is going to be lower, growth hormone is also going to be messed up, and just your focus during your workouts is also going to be off. Now, you can take caffeine, coffee, get hyped up for your workout, but that also is not going to be ideal. I would suggest at least 7 hours of solid quality sleep per night. And there's actually good research on that more sleep is better for performance, up to 10 or maybe more hours per night. A lot of professional athletes, they're getting in 11 or even 12 hours. It's that important. Number 2, progressive overload. This doesn't necessarily mean adding weight to the bar each session in a linear manner, but it does mean being better, trying to improve over time. If you're doing the exact same thing a year from now, why would your body have any muscle? Something like the mind-muscle connection or like squeezing the muscle more, that might work for enhanced lifters, but even for them, it doesn't work that well. And if you're natural, you just won't see any growth. Next, number 3, he talks about 2 times per week frequency for every single muscle group. Now, a few years ago, I would have wholeheartedly agreed with this, but now it seems like just the total volume is more important. However, twice per week frequency does allow for potentially more volume or potentially a higher quality of set per muscle group per week. And your quality is just as important as your quantity. Number 4, 0.8 grams per pound of protein. Now, you can get away with a little bit less than this. You know, if you go to like 0.7 or 0.6, it's not the end of the world. In terms of kilos, like 1.2 grams per kilo, you'll still make progress from that. And if you don't, it's probably not the protein that is the issue. That being said, a lot of people are actually eating too much protein. You have muscle food companies like Trifecta, good one there, advocating for 1 to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. That is excessive and unneeded, and even the people claiming 1 gram per pound, there's not a lot of evidence for that, and yet there's a ton of evidence saying that it tends to cap out at around 0.8 grams per pound. Number 5, track your workouts. This is absolutely vital. Now, it's true that your body doesn't know if you wrote it down, but your brain does, and it is important for motivation and then to see the progression. If you don't know what you've done in the past, you don't know what has actually worked, and you absolutely cannot rely on your memory to make this happen. You will forget sessions and workouts and even personal bests. Number 6, calorie surplus. Now, if you're higher in body fat percentage, 30, 40, 50% body fat, you don't need a calorie surplus. You need a calorie deficit. The good news is you can actually still gain muscle and strength and size when in a deficit because you have a preponderance of energy available to you once you start to release that. However, if you are lean and the leaner you are, surplus, okay? Chuck in 200, 300, 400 calories. This will not make you fat. And even if you add fat, you can always take this off later relatively easily. But a calorie surplus is absolutely going to help your progress substantially. Number 7, prioritize compound lifts. Now, he mentions bench presses, overhead presses, weighted pull-ups, deadlifts, back squats, rows, the basics, just the basic barbell movements. I think those are a very good start, and everyone should be proficient with those, but they're certainly not the only way to get a big, strong, muscular physique. And I would say machines and dumbbells and other ways to load the body are completely fine. But he's right that they should be mostly compound movements, just in a bang for your buck, you don't want to be in the gym for 3 hours type of sense. And I'll probably do a full video on this. I don't know exactly why I have to delve into this, but it seems like almost every natural lifter uses these big compound movements with a little bit of isolation, not the other way around. Number 8, there is no perfect rep range. So a lot of people think that it's just the 8 to 12 range. That is the hypertrophy rep range. It is maybe ideal for some reasons, but it's not like it's way better than anything else. And I would say you can gain muscle anywhere from 5 to 30 reps. Even above 30 is potentially a thing, and even below 5 will still make you grow. But generally speaking, this is exercise dependent. If you're doing lateral raises, triples is not a good idea. But if you're doing the bench press, it's viable. Next one, train very close to failure. Absolutely agree. You do not have to go to failure. I have never said that. I do it quite a bit, but I've never said that it is necessary for muscle growth. I think on some movements, it's sort of a no-brainer. If you're worried about your RPE or reps in reserve on lateral raises, you have bigger issues. But generally speaking, if you train like most people and you are very far away from failure, like 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 reps away from true failure, you're just not going to see very good results in terms of hypertrophy. You gotta be close. Close. Next, he says, perform perfect reps with a controlled eccentric, pause, and then explosive concentric. And I think this makes sense. However, it is a little bit exercise dependent. And, on something like the deadlift, not a Romanian deadlift, just a normal deadlift, you don't necessarily need to control the eccentric all the way down, especially past the knees. You're probably best off just letting the barbell drop in a controlled way to the floor.
Looks very confident as he pulls. Oh, that was easy. Oh, wait a minute, he dropped the bar, Paul. He dropped the bar. 2 red lights, the left does not count.
I also do think that there is some room for cheating or momentum on some isolation movements as well as rows. It just makes sense from a biomechanical standpoint. Next, he says that the only 3 supplements worth considering are creatine, caffeine, and whey protein. This is where I kind of disagree because it is quite individual. If you're caffeine sensitive, you might not want to have caffeine at all. I had one client who, if he had like 200 or 300 milligrams of caffeine, he would be up for 60 hours. Yeah, so caffeine is not for him. Some people just don't respond to creatine. They just get no effect at all. I think it's about 1/3 of people who try it. And so for them, it's not worth taking because they don't see any result at all. And as for whey protein or casein protein, both of which are excellent, if you can get your protein from whole foods, that is just objectively better. Protein powder is convenient and it tastes good. That's about it. However, on the flip side, there are certainly other supplements that could be extremely useful for some people. But as a general recommendation, I agree that most supplements don't have strong enough evidence behind them that everyone should be taking them. Finally, number 12, be patient. And yeah, I agree. This is not a 1-month thing or even a 3-month thing. This is not even a 1 or a 2 year thing, okay? People are like, oh, what can I look like after a year? I guess they just want to know, but still, it's a journey. It's a long-term thing, and you have to live it. And not many people have a 5-year goal or a 10-year goal, but that's often what it's going to take to get to the goal physique that they have. And that's not a popular thing. No one wants to hear that, but it's kind of the truth. The last things he says, which I thought was really good, was that he said, enjoy your workouts. And you'd be surprised at how many people, they hate going to the gym, but they just want the results. And those are the kind of people who, they don't get results. So take a process-oriented approach, and even if your program is not 100% optimal, if you enjoy doing something, you enjoy cleaning a kettlebell or using a certain machine, if it keeps the process just...
What? English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Yes!
If it keeps the process... Fuck!
Bitch! What?
Keeps the process sustainable, that is a win in my book. Finally, I just want to say that if it's not on this list, it might still be important, but it's probably not that important. I get a lot of questions where, someone's like, oh, should I, twist my pinky like this when I'm doing a dumbbell press, or like what is the exact angle I should use, or like should I go with the 30 or the 45 degree angle and incline, or all these really minor details, which they are important to a certain extent, but these same people are often messing up these big things. If you're worried about getting 0.9 or 1 gram per pound of protein, but then you're getting 3 hours of sleep a night, you're simply focusing on the wrong thing. In that case, it just doesn't matter. All right, that is all for this video. Like, subscribe, share, turn on notifications. Definitely grab a copy of my book. It goes into this kind of stuff in a hell of a lot more detail. Not unnecessary detail, but, you know, useful detail. Peace.